Alright, you niggas get sent to the stove. I run up the paper, can't let it get low. I'm down bottom on haze and I'm still we get low. We still hop out them cars and we make them get low.
This low and you on the set.
I got here, man, and this introduction is funny, right? Cause I called him, man. I called him the little baby of DC. My man is one of the most humblest rappers in the city right now. Underrated, humble guys. Like one of the dudes that you can really go to for pretty much any motherfucking thing. It's like the big brother of the city right here. We got young E-Class here. What's up, bro?
What's good,
man? I'm glad to have you here, bro. And it's funny. It's a funny thing. When I first started, I remember when you reached out to me, I couldn't even really believe that. You know what I'm saying? And you was on it. Like you wasn't like nah, this little ass platform, man, fuck this junk. You was like, shit, I need to get on this junk. You made it your business to get on this shit, and I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks. I seen, you know, I was loving it, and I was loving the consistency, so I was like, I gotta get up on that junk. And it's out the way, I was like, I gotta get up on that junk. I gotta get up on that junk. Respecting the platform, loving it and shit.
I appreciate that, bro. So we're gonna first get into your story. I know you do 1,000 interviews, bro. I know it's you on repeat, but I do want the people to know where you come from, like the origins of you, and what made you like this humble beast right here. So what part of the city are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Northeast, Trinity area, 13th Street. I lived up on Trinity. I lived on Wrong Street. That's my love right there. And a part of the area that I frequent is like gentrified and shit. But we got like a little small pocket we would be at. But that area represents family to me. It represents everything I ever knew, everything I ever loved, everything that ever taught me and shit. And it's different for me when I speak about that job, because like my whole family had it. Like we had houses, every house between 13th floor to 13th I. We had 3-4 houses right there. Everybody around it was actually my cousins. And if they wasn't, they was so close to my family that people thought we was cousins. I thought we was cousins. There's some motherfuckers I just found out wasn't my cousin and shit. So, yeah,
That's crazy.
That shit meant a lot to me. That shit meant a lot. Even to the point like years down the line, once we get into my story, that that environment helped me make decisions and stop me from making poor decisions and shit. So yeah, man, Northeast born and bred and shit, man.
And you spoke on gentrification, and I that's an interesting subject, because I wanted to touch on that, because I was going to do a segment on all the gentrified neighborhoods in the city, and Trinity is one of those neighborhoods. We talking about one of the most notorious neighborhoods in the city, and that part of Northeast, how it's gentrified, like you wouldn't never even knew it was anything there.
Just like not to go on subject, like, cause I was out shooting before, and they gentrifying that junk. Like they knocked home Avenue, it's gone. The street's not even in.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there. We still got our streets out there, but out there, they don't even got their streets. Like, they renamed the streets, tore everything down, and rebuild it. So, like, it just showed, like, imagine you being from somewhere and the street not there. Like, the name of the street is not that.
Right.
Shit. So, but, like, far as in the Trinity area, it's unbelievable at sometimes, because you got little pockets that's still the same, but you can like really go on the other side of the street and it's like it's like Murray Poppins gonna pop out the sky with a motherfucking umbrella or some shit. Like that's like white people be walking cats on leashes and shit. Like what the fuck?
Like, what the fuck is happening in the Northeast?
Yeah, that shit is. And you know, a lot of people say a lot of things about should abort the block or gentrification is good for the area and all that, but they don't understand the harm that it do to community, right? Like to a black community, like growing up where as though, even if you wasn't in a neighborhood like mine, where as though it's family, if you was just in a real neighborhood, like your neighbors help raise you. So now you gotta think kids is in neighborhoods where their neighbors don't even speak to them, like, and a lot of them be Airbnb spots out. They fix it up, Airbnb it out. So every week is a new family and a new person in there. So it take away the sense of community. It take away the sense of, like, I learned the love from the community. I learned to care for other people that wasn't my family from community. So when you talk about gentrification, a whole group, and we don't even gotta say white people, a whole group of people, whether they white, black, Asian, or anything, moving into a neighborhood that don't understand the culture or don't understand the people. Like, they might take people standing on the corner as a threat. They might take loud music as a threat and shit. So you got kids just being kids, and they getting the police called on them. And other than talking to them, you feel? Because for us growing up, I don't even ever call the police on us. They talk to us. They might have yoked us up, or I'm gonna call your father, or I'm gonna call.
That was worse than the police.
Yeah, like for us, everybody knew my grandmother in my neighborhood, so the motherfucker be like, I'm gonna call Miss Queen, and you like you don't want that, right? But now it's like they gonna call the law. So gentrification is harmful to the community idea.
And I'm glad you did touch on that. Yeah, man. Washington D.C. and all major cities in the United States are getting gentrified. So we all going through the same thing. And not to stray away from your story. Growing up,
still a part of it though.
Yeah, for sure. But we gonna rewind and go back to the old Trinity where you grew up at, right? So, what was Trinity like back then?
That motherfucker. Outside looking in, it probably was more treacherous than when you live in. Because when you living in it, you don't really know until you leave and then come back, or you leave and hear what people say about it, or people treat you a certain way because of where you're from. So I remember going to like no Cowboy swimming pool and shit, and niggas been like, oh, that's such and such little brother that live around such and such, and niggas like, get out your, like, nigga ain't steal my shoes because of where I was from. So I'm like, oh shit, like what's like, you hear me? So like, nah, it's just cause I thought our neighborhood was like everybody else's, but it was different. Like, you know, the National Guard come around setting the lights up and shit, doing the motherfucking Crime Stop shit. And the first time they put cameras up and all that shit, it was definitely a deadly area. But one thing I could say, it was deadly for people that lived their life. Rarely did it affect people that wasn't, you know, inside of their lane and shit. Like, rarely did shit happen to kids or none of all that shit. But when it came to that drug trade, though, it was vicious. It was vicious out there. Like, it was slinging that iron. Certain times, you know not to go to the basketball court. You already know what's going on. Yeah, even up at the rec center. Yeah, it was vicious out there, John.
So you was around when it's the land of the dreads. Okay.
I'm talking about when I was a youngin'. Like before I started, you know, getting active, like TBS, Trinity Bomb Squad, and all that time when like niggas was still going to the gas station. My brothers was pumping gas, you know, get money for pumping gas and doing the grocery shit. Like Rough It All and all, like growing up, seeing that shit, it definitely shaked the shit out of that nigga and shit. It definitely shaked the shit out of that nigga. Like that time, that's back when Ivy City was jumping off. Like, you know your neighborhood and everything around your neighborhood, Ivy Cities, Rosedale, 21st, like everything was different in that time and shit.
Yeah, it seemed like I can't tell you To be honest, I would say, man, it was way worse back then, but now I don't know.
Yeah, it's man, it's like how would you categorize worse? Like, cause like it was more murders then, but now it's kids and women getting murdered. So it's like, though it was more murder, but it was people that was involved in that life.
Right.
Now a lot of people getting affected that's not involved in that life. Like, so.
That's how I categorize it. I feel like nowadays the principles and morals is just out the window.
Man, it's not that it's out the window. It's lack thereof, because you gotta think, like, I know around our way we had many mass indictments where the whole neighborhood get locked up. So like, you got a mass indictment in your neighborhood, 20, 30, 40, 50 dudes get locked up. So imagine you like 11, 12, and when you jump off the porch, the neighborhood yours.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, for us growing up, when you jump off the porch, you jump into guidance.
Right.
And they're gonna be like, all right, if you wanna be out here, this happened. You don't bring, only time you pull is when you use it. Don't be hacked, cause like, you can't mix money and murder. You want to learn a lot of things. Like when Miss Such and Such come out, you help her with a bag. You stop smoking. You stop the dice game. Let the people walk through. But like that mass incarceration shit from the 90s to the early 2000s wiped so many people out that young niggas really came off the porch and the neighborhood was theirs. So only thing they could do is emulate what they see, whether on TV or what they heard about their old heads did, and just like run a block with an iron fist. So they're not really thinking about the money aspect. They're not really thinking about getting out the streets. All they know is we was beefing with these niggas, so we're gonna keep that shit going.
Yeah, and don't even know why.
Don't even know. They just know that that's what they supposed to. They think that's what they supposed to do.
Right.
Because that's all they like. When you a kid and you looking at your neighborhood, you're not really looking at the money aspect.
Right.
You know people got cars, jewelry, clothes, but you don't really know how much money they got.
Right.
You don't know that they out there real life chasing money.
Mm-hmm.
The shit that you see is the beefing. You see when niggas slinging iron. You see when niggas you see what happened at dice games. You see niggas smoking. You see niggas off the boat. So they just doing what they seen. And there's no guidance. And it's not even their fault. Like, that system be designed for shit like that. Like, you got wipe out a whole neighborhood. Like, niggas be codees and don't even fucking know each other. You feel?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I can't, like, I be feeling for them, because I can't imagine jumping off the porch and the fucking neighborhood is mine. It's like, I'm 12 or 13 years old and it's mine. Like, I got to say so. And niggas itching to put that work in for real, before they itching to get some bread up and shit.